Hello, everyone out there in HAHcon. Today, this is me, Thoth Penswell.
And I'm Essential.
So, what we're going to do for the next 2 hours is we're going to bring a couple of artists from our lovely Bronies NYC, right here in NYC, and we're going to let you know a little bit more about them. First off, great traditional artist. Her name is Moogie. Come on over. How's it going?
It's going good.
That's good. What brings you to New York City today?
You guys mostly.
So I'd like to ask you, what got you into your journey into the world of horse art?
Horse art.
Horse art.
My Little Pony mostly.
Now, considering that, are you an older fan of the older generations, or did G4 was the thing that kicked off your interest?
Yeah, that was definitely it. I was not a fan of the old stuff.
Well, unpack that a bit. What had you seen before you started, getting into pony and drawing pony itself?
Mostly things that were advertised around me because I didn't watch the show all that much when I was younger. So, I would see the McDonald's toys periodically.
I'm hating it.
Might be the horse meat, actually. Maybe.
It. There you go. So in that case, if you didn't watch a lot of older My Little Pony and that wasn't really what got you into it, what cartoons did you watch as a kid, if that could give us a little bit more of an idea?
Oh, I was a WB kid, so I was always on the,
Animaniacs?
Yes, Animaniacs,
Freakazoid?
Batman, Freakazoid,
Yeah.
Superman, all that stuff.
And I'm assuming Batman the Animated Series.
Yes.
There you go. So going off that a bit, was there any inspiration in those cartoons that you ever use in your art, or did that influence your taste?
Okay, so you know how Sonic the Hedgehog fans are known for making their OCs?
Cold Steel the Hedgehog is my OC, thank you very much.
I spent maybe about 2 months in junior high school drawing strictly just those for everyone around me.
Well, a lot of people out there spend strictly 20 years drawing that.
Draw my OC? No, make me an OC.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's where I kind of started with the whole I'm gonna draw for the rest of my life thing.
And then I'm assuming that was a kind of a transition into pony. And now to lead on to that, what introduced you to ponies? But could you go back to the moment when because I remember my moment was on an Ed, Edd n Eddy fan forum of all things.
Yeah, that's
really?
weird.
Yes, yeah, it is weird. Yeah, not the fact that we're talking about drawing horses right now. Don't roll your eyes at me.
Well, my exact moment, because I will never, ever forget it. He's standing right there. There was this, we had a little get together for some friends, and I ended up staying out late. So my friend Monica says, hey, you should come over and just spend the night at my place. There's this show I want to just introduce you.
Oh no, the dreaded words.
It's the world of My Little Pony.
Famous last words. So to kind of dig a little bit further, what is just from your general observation and being a pony artist primarily that's actually another thing. How long have you been drawing ponies now?
A little less than a year.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So you haven't been on the ride for too long?
No, not really. I mean, I enjoy it quite a bit, though. It's fun.
Welcome to the ride.
Thank you.
You're never get off.
Oh, well.
But in that way, because you're a newer entry into this medium, basically. I don't want to say it's
A medium.
Yeah.
The horse art medium.
Horse art medium, with a side of fries, of course.
Just don't talk about fries. I just finished eating them.
Are you gonna be okay?
I'm gonna be fine.
Deal with, I got to deal with this all day and night.
Careful with that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, watch that water. Geez, we detract a bit, but going into, because it's an interesting perspective you have if you're a little newer, a little bit, I guess, greener to all this, and we've been around for what, 6, 7 years?
I've been on this ride since 2011.
Well, good for you. So have I.
I'm among seasoned professionals, ladies and gentlemen.
But to go into that, what is your perspective, seeing as you're a bit greener on all this and you're newer? What have you seen in the fandom that's different from, say, you mentioned like Sonic art and everything earlier. What do you think is different about not only the fandom, but drawing art in the fandom and doing, you know, commissions, convention scene? I don't know how many conventions you've been to. You're at one right now, but but what is your take on all that? If you'd like to, you know, expand on that a bit.
I mean, as far as just drawing the art goes, it's fun. You know, I haven't exactly like, well, I mentioned that I haven't been drawing it for very long, but whenever I do, it's always anything that I manage to come up with, I end up being very proud of, which is kind of rare because I'm not a big fan of my own art, and I'm sure that a lot of artists can say the same thing.
I was about to say, not to detract for a second.
Yeah.
I was about to say, a lot of times, a film professor of mine once said, because I'm in film and everything, he said to me that 50% you need to take pride and love your work, and 50% you need to just absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
Because you need to be critical of your work, but you also, you know, you can't absolutely hate it. Otherwise, you know, it's all... Yeah, exactly. And I know a lot of people who are like that, not to, you know, disparage them, because I love all of my artist friends. They're fantastic. Some of them are watching right now, actually. Hi!
Yeah, I'm right next to you.
Yeah. Hi, Mom! But that is an interesting perspective to have. I mean, just to have a newer, I guess, face into the fandom than typical. And I hope that this gives you some exposure out there in the world of the internet, because we need more artists. I mean, we're 8 seasons in on this stuff, guys. We need new people.
I mean, I've seen a lot of beautiful My Little Pony art.
That's
the conventions and things like that. They're just gorgeous.
Yeah, and that actually goes on another thing. With the way we're in season 9 and with all of the, well, season 9's next, I was about to say, there you go. Excuse me, Freudian slip. To go into that a bit, now that we know that the show's coming to an end, oh no, it's not, guys. But anyways, going off of that, what do you think of the world of fan art in Pony itself, in this fandom itself, not just Friendship is Magic, but in general? Where do you think that's going to go as we transition a bit? And to kind of go off of that, where do you think you'll be in the mix of all that?
I'm probably along for the ride as I have been.
There you go. That's what all of us are right now, seriously.
No, I'm not seeing myself getting off this train for a long while.
You dug too deep money-wise. It's too late. It's too late. I mean, that thing right there, that's a couple $100. That's mine. It's too late.
I've invested all my horse bucks. Where's my what do you call that when the return on your investments? I forgot what you call that.
You're asking me? But
eventually we're gonna need our own cryptocurrency.
Ooh.
Horse-based cryptocurrency.
Well, I was gonna say that can lead into the next thing. Let's think of names for horse-based cryptocurrency.
What do they call it in
Bitcoin. Hey, got him. Good night, everybody. No, but seriously.
Let's see. Okay, so now we know all about Pony and stuff.
Yeah.
How about what kind of shows do you watch other than MLP?
At the moment?
Yes.
Mainly just, I'm kind of stuck on the nostalgic anime train right now. Like, I just finished watching Air Gear because there was the event that Bronies NYC actually held a couple of weeks ago, which was the Love Sensation mashup. So I was watching Air Gear and kind of just went down from there. For some reason, I just ignore everything that's out now. It's like, yeah, I kind of feel like watching something new. How is Card Captors? I don't know what's happening.
See, you're just falling down different rides right now into different wells. And then who's your lassie? Who's gonna get you out?
Do I want to get out though?
No, you don't want to. Well, I mean, I do, but
no, you don't.
I do.
Do you really?
Help.
He says help with a smile on his face. It's not very.
I do. So it's a lie. It's all a lie. This whole thing's a lie.
That's not dark.
It's a little bit dark, but that's life. No.
Dark down in this well. Never getting out. Never seen the light of day.
So to go a bit further on, you know, the artistic perspective, Ace. Any more questions regarding? You know, there's probably a way. obviously there's a difference between the two ways you guys do it. You have digital and you have traditional. What do you think? Well, I should direct this towards you, Moogie. Where is the main? What do you think is the primary difference besides the format and how you draw it? You know, what is the biggest difference between traditional and digital?
I think that this is gonna sound like I'm just kind of beating up traditional artists a bit. Digital art is a lot more polished looking, and it's a lot. It's not rough around the edges the way traditional art is. So I feel like people gravitate towards it more because it's a lot more colorful and it's a lot. I don't know. Yeah, that's not a very good
But I appreciate that because I've had other people who do primarily traditional art, and they find it kind of difficult to get as much of a reach as people like Essential here who does digital.
Yeah.
And that's mostly because they've said to me, you know, nobody's looking for traditional. And
Yeah.
while I don't think, I don't know if that's necessarily true, but there's definitely, it's tougher out there as a traditional artist. I mean, would you agree with that, or would you be?
I would, because I mean, because even just when it comes to selling prints and things like that,
Yeah.
you know, people are looking for
The
something-
really polished. I
Exactly.
gotcha. That
So-
makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, it's not impossible to find someone who likes traditional art, but
Yeah.
when,
No, of course.
when you do, it's usually someone who wants the original piece and not a print of it.
Yeah.
So
Huh. Well, there's definitely a market then.
it's not as big, but yeah, it's there.
Well,
The big thing with between being like a digital and a traditional artist is that with being a traditional artist, you definitely have to really work to be a master of like a particular medium. Like if you want to be good at watercolor, or you want to be good at like ink, or you want to be good at like acrylics, whatever. That's like one of the big struggles I faced when I'm like taking art classes and I have to work with these kind of mediums. I'm spending less time trying to draw the thing I want to draw, and more trying to figure out how does this medium work, you know? Like, I'm using watercolors, like, okay, I can't just load tons of pigment onto the page, or else it's going to look really, really bad.
Yeah.
It's not achieving the kind of look that I want to get. Whereas with digital, I have like so many different kind of tools I can just pick up and use. If I want to do an ink pen, I can do an ink drawing. If I want to do airbrush, I can just do an airbrush. But I spend more time like trying to figure out like the medium that I'm trying to use, and more just I guess more on like the drawing. Which I'm not trying to say that with traditional that's not what they do, but definitely with traditional you have to there's definitely a bigger barrier in which you have to overcome. You have to have at least have a decent grasp on the media that you're using, until you start being able to produce the stuff that you actually really want to work on. Yeah.
gosh, I loved everything you just said there, Ace, but you know something? You're going next. You have a half hour to talk about this stuff. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, I couldn't have said it any better though.
There you go. You know, we're coming up on about 5 minutes left, but it looks like you've definitely got a finished product right there.
Just about.
Just about. Would you like to do some coloring or?
I do plan to, but if I start it now, I'm not going to be able to like pick up.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Yeah, she came out really well.
I was going to say, that does look excellent. And now, to ask a really, really intricate, very, deep question. Yikes, not that kind of stream. To really ask the most important question in all of this.
Uh-oh.
Best pony.
Do I really want to put myself on that pedestal right now, though?
I mean, the whole stream will tell you whether they agree with you or not.
Yeah.
No pressure. But no, yeah, go right ahead. I think...
You mean out of the main six, or...?
Just in general.
Well, my favorite is Vinyl Scratch.
Oh, there you go.
Vinyl Scratch.
She's easily my favorite, and it's
There you
just
go.
because, she took home 3.
There
How
you
did
go.
not like her?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, what do you want me to draw? Tell me something to draw.
Well, let's see. Who's your favorite pony?
Twilight Sparkle.
Okay, and what activity were you doing last night at 7:40 p.m.?
7:40. I was asleep because I had nothing to do with the power out.
Then draw a sleepy Twilight Sparkle.
Okay, then
I
a
task you
sleepy-
with that.
Twilight Sparkle. That will be done. Okay. So,
We get things done on this stream.
oh, there you go.
There
Already
you
done.
go.
All right, let's go.
So how are you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
I'm starting to learn that sleeping too much is just as bad as sleeping too little. Because I had a lot of sleep last night, and wow, I feel awful.
There's a balance of getting too much sleep now?
Yeah.
What was the longest you ever slept then?
When I was sick with the chicken pox, and I think I slept like 18 hours straight.
Slept an entire day.
Yeah, no, it was a chicken pox, dude. That was
Jeez.
awful. It's the worst experience of my life.
Jeez, we're getting really dark again already. Right back into it, everybody. So you're my partner on Rift Ponies, right? We have a lot of laughs and everything.
We've known each other since like 2013.
2015 more like it.
Oh, okay.
So going off of that, we met at PonyCon 2015 actually, and going off that, we can go to, let's say, what's your favorite convention memory, let's say? Well, first, let me go into what's your favorite convention period? You know, favorite convention to vend at or draw.
Well, I will have to say that my favorite convention is PonyCon.
Wow, there you go.
But the reason why is because PonyCon has just been like basically filled with like from top to bottom with like friends and it's like people I know, people I care about, people I love. And they have basically made just going to a pony convention that was already a typically fun time, and they elevated it immensely because it's just all a good fun time together when you're there with your friends.
Where do you think the future of things like the convention scene, say BronyCon, all that, and art as well, as I asked a similar question to Moogie a while back, where do you think all of that is going to be heading in the next few years?
Oh boy. Okay, that's a really big question. Okay, so the really big interesting thing about the whole pony convention scene is that it got really, really big, like shockingly big. There have been other fandoms in the past, but almost none of them have ever just like exploded in popularity like the pony scene. And for a long time, that led to a really vibrant like convention scene and artist scene and all that, which is really cool. But we're kind of starting to reach the point where like we're shrinking back down to the scene that we should have been, the size that it should have all started at. The fact that it grew as big as it did is nothing short of incredible, and it led to a lot of amazing things. But you can even start seeing it already. It's starting to slow down. I don't think in time. I don't think we're going to have as many convention scenes as we used to, and we're not going to have as many artists as we used to. But that's just kind of the way it goes, because now the pony scene is kind of like tapering down to the size that, in many ways, it should have been in the very beginning. But I don't think it'll really lead to like maybe like a diminished passion or anything. I'm sure we'll have a lot of people who are still just as much in love with the show as they are today. Yeah. But there will be fewer people. There'll be a lot more familiar faces, and there'll just be fewer more scenes for us to get together. Which is just just the way it goes with how long it's been running. This has been a long and wild ride. It's been a fantastic one, but it's a ride that's going to have to start slowing down a little bit.
And I was going to say, I would argue there were a lot of conventions out there. Maybe there was a point, whether it was a certain convention in Las Vegas, which I won't refer to by name, because again, this is a Christian stream. Would you say there were too many conventions, really?
After a point, there were a lot of conventions, because I still remember that a while ago that there were conversations like, oh my God, there's so many cons. Which one do I go to? That is a very strange problem. In many ways, that's a very strange problem to have. In which that such a fairly niche fandom like ours has a problem of having too many conventions. Yeah. I mean, I love it. It was great. I went to HAHcon just a few months like last year, and it was a great time. Yeah. But for such a fairly niche fandom, man, we had a lot of choice when it came to cons.
Well, there you go. That's really the bottom line, is that it is a niche, and we had 20, 30, 40 conventions a year going there. But I think a lot of people like to say the fandom's dying, and I see the shake of your head there. I feel like there's more downsizing, and sorry, we're getting very serious here, everybody. Getting really serious at HAHcon right here. But
I don't. Yeah, it's not dying. There's still more than enough people with a great passion for the show and for its characters and for its world. There will be fewer people for sure, but dying. This ride's been going on for 6 years. There have been fandoms around for much longer, given much less, and they're still around. Firefly. I'm sorry for any Firefly fans out there. My heart goes out to you.
You're cutting deep. You just made a lot of brown coats angry.
But yeah, we've been around. We'll be around. We're not going anywhere.
And I can agree with that outlook. Now, actually, I just see a question on here on stream, and I kind of like that question. Is it easier? This comes from Ein Stapelwasser. Is it easier to draw on tablet or on paper?
Man. Okay, so I don't know if I can really say it's necessarily easier or harder one way or the other. It's certainly different because when I'm drawing on paper, I'm pulling from a different mindset, like the way I think about my art. There's a different kind of mentality and approach to it.
Yeah.
When I do it like that, as opposed to when I'm doing it on a tablet, because when I'm working on a tablet, when I'm working on paper, a lot of times I'm drawing for the purpose of study, of research, and along those lines. It's very rarely do I commit something I drew on paper as to a finished drawing. When I'm drawing on a tablet, I'm very often, I do studies on my tablet, but very often I'm working to get a drawing finished, to get it done.
Gotcha.
And that does come with a difference in mindset and a difference in approach. The way, if you saw how I sketch on tablet, like what I'm doing right now, and how I sketch on paper, they do look a little different because I'm like looking for different things while I'm working.
Now, would you say either looks better, or would you recommend it for any artist, or does it all depend on preference, as somebody in our lovely stream mentioned earlier?
As someone who is basically, I guess you could say, traditionally trained as an artist, I think one of the best things to do in terms of trying to study art is to work on paper, to work with a pencil and paper, because from there, you're not wrestling with what your medium, you're more figuring out, okay, I want to draw something, what do I want to draw? And let me draw it, let me practice drawing it, rather than thinking, how am I going to get this pencil or this watercolor or whatever you're doing you're using to work with you, So for me, a pencil and paper is like one of the closest connections between what you want to do and actually doing it.
Gotcha. Right. So in the end, you would go with, if I can understand, you would say traditional is.
Even as I'm primarily a digital artist, but I would still highly recommend that even as a digital artist that you practice in a pencil and paper, because a lot of those skills are going to translate into working on your Cintiq tablet.
Yes.
I practice like anatomy and shading and all that on paper and pencil, and that comes with me as I come to work digitally. That's the main crux of it.
Gotcha. Just giving a 5-minute. Although it seems like you're done with it, but we're not done with our time here. We have about 5 more minutes. But coming up next, you should really tune in. We have an excellent traditional artist. We have Invalid-David, a wonderful piece of our Bronies NYC community, and he'll do some traditional drawing right here for our lovely light webcam, and to go off of that on traditional art. So you'll definitely have a bunch of questions for him when he comes up in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So with the time you have left here, first off, I know we mentioned this earlier, especially in chat. Where can people find you online?
If you want to find me online, I have a DeviantArt, which I haven't updated in a long while, called Acential, ACESENTIAL. You can also find me on Twitter. And also, I do have other names out there, but they're not names I want to I want to say on the
Christian
on a
Christian
Christian
server.
But if you do some looking, you'll find my other art. So
Yeah.
you'll find me on Tumblr and also on Fur Affinity. Just do a little looking, and you can also find me there.
Going by A to the C to the E essential, correct?
Yep.
Ah, there you go. We learned our alphabet here. We're coming up on about, let's see here, 2 minutes left. Is there anything else you'd like to say to, probably not hundreds of people, but there's definitely a fandom at large right here watching us at this lovely HAHcon 2018. Hi, everybody. Is there anything else you'd like to let the people out there know?
All right. So I'm sure as many of you, like me, have been on this ride for a very long time, and you could probably like me, this whole thing means a lot to you. Like, I've certainly built up a lot of my personal, in many ways, my own identity, my own my self-image as an artist, how I think about my own work, based very much on what I've learned from this fandom and what I've done within this fandom. And it can be very disheartening for some of us, and I'm sure many of you out there, to see that it looks like it's all kind of starting to wind down. And if you're like me, with that kind of thing, I'm telling you, don't worry about it. I know it may seem disheartening, but just think about the many friends that you've made, the many things that you've done, many things you've accomplished within the scope of this fandom, alongside with your friends, and think, if you could do that here, you can do that anywhere. And that just because maybe the greatest time of the fandom has come and gone, doesn't necessarily mean that the greatest time for you has come and gone. All right? So keep your head up and keep doing the best thing that you can do.
That is beautiful. That really is. Thank you so. This is the reason why I work with this guy, everybody. And where you can find Ace, you can find him on Twitter at Acentral, find him on DeviantArt, and if you'd like to support us as a group, we do a little thing called Rift Ponies, and we're on Twitter as well, although I run that, but he can see it too. So anything else further to add? Although I think you aired everything right there, my friend, right?
Twilight Sparkle is my favorite pony, and ain't nothing gonna change that.
Oh, well, I couldn't have figured that from your art there. I'd like to welcome our next artist onto the stream. That is Invalid-David.
Hey!
Come on up, Dave.
You guys can just call me David, but when I first created my DeviantArt account, I chose the name Invalid-David, and that's just the name I stuck with it. And so, yeah, there it is.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I know we're supposed to be drawing horses, but I've drawn too many horses, so I'm doing dragon.
Oh, are you doing coloring here?
Yeah.
From the looks of it? Oh, go right ahead.
I am gonna paint this.
Nice. Go for it.
Yep.
To go off something that Moogie said earlier, first off, have you ever tried digital, or have you always done traditional from the beginning?
Yeah, if you check out my DeviantArt page, you'll see one of my earliest works there is some attempts at digital art, and I really try to get into it, and I find myself not really enjoying it. And if you're an artist, if you don't enjoy something you're doing, it's better if you stop doing it. Most of the time, not always, but most of the time, it's just not meant for you.
Yeah.
So I've decided that digital art is not meant for me, so I'm sticking strictly with digital art.
Gotcha.
Now, yeah.
Does that and now I know you expanded on that a little bit just there, but to go a little bit further, what particularly do you think is an advantage of traditional over digital?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sorry, I'm asking deep questions.
I
I
know,
know we talked about we
Careful,
wouldn't.
I'm listening.
Oh, see,
No.
added pressure.
I don't know. I wouldn't know. I haven't done too much of digital art to be making that kind of comparison. I'm sure both have their pros and cons, like a lot of things, but
Yeah.
I really can't answer that question. I know I will say is I am really envious of digital artists. I find all their stuff really fantastic and great. I wish I had the patience and the time to get back into digital art. Maybe someday I will go back to trying it again, maybe in the future, but
Yeah.
I need time and money,
Yeah. Well, to kind of go off of
Don't all artists need time and money.
Exactly.
my production guy's telling me no. But anyways, Now, I kind of asked a similar question earlier to Moogie and another traditional artist, but I'll go into it again now to follow that trend.
Sure.
What exactly got you into drawing pony or drawing in general, even if that's if you want to do a two-part question there, or if you just like to answer one of those particularly?
I knew I wanted to become an artist since a very early age. And because my mom's Asian, of course she has to take things really seriously, and she got me going to all of these private art classes since I was like 8 or 9 years old, I guess. And I've been, you know, studying here and there. And then, yeah, that's basically how I got started as an artist.
I know the struggles of having Asian parents.
Yeah. Oh man. But anyway.
Yeah, you'll never know.
I was gonna say I am white as glue, so I have no idea. But
Oh god.
and to make it worse, again, I'm not an artist. I'm visual, maybe audio and visual, but hardly. But see, again, that's why a lot of the art you guys can do, or you know, Ace can do. That's what impresses me as a guy who isn't really graced with the artistic ability, is that it always amazes me, period. And I always love it. I don't love it, but I always find it funny when when artists particularly, and hopefully I don't offend, artists particularly would go, oh, well, this sucks, this is awful. I'm like, no, you can do more than maybe 80% of people I know, and more than I could.
You know what? I do take offense at that. Why would you dare say something like that? Let us find our work to suck as much as we want to.
I'm guilty of that. Yeah.
Well, and again, it goes back to what I was saying to Moogie earlier. We're going a lot back to Moogie quite a bit, but there's kind of a fine line you have to walk with loving and hating your work, I guess. And
Well, if you hate your work, you can channel that into something positive by being a motivation to do better, which is what I'm doing now. Instead of self-hating, you have to channel into a motivation to become a better artist. Which is
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, for example, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
No, I mean, you mentioned how I got into pony work, which is a different story because there was a moment before I discovered My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic that I almost gave up on art because I thought that I was never going to become a good artist, and there was a point in time where I was depressed a lot of the time, and I just wanted to give up on art and trying to focus on something more useful. That's what I thought at the time. That is until I back in 2010 I discovered My Little Pony on certain image board on the internet, and that changed my life basically. Because of Lauren Faust and because of that show, I became inspired to go back into being an artist because all the imagery and images and from the show and from the artwork that people were making online, they really truly inspired me, and because of that I went back into being an artist. So I have to thank Lauren Faust for that, for turning me back into being an artist.
Nature out there, I love that. That was really nice. That was really great.
It is very inspiring about how many people who were like they've been compelled to pick up art or to go back into art because of a silly show about little cartoon horses. It's nothing short of amazing that something seemingly so simple can inspire so many people to do even more. And as we've seen out there are a lot of people out there who basically rode that train into their own career.
And there you go. There's a lot of musicians, a lot of artists, of course. It's a lot of video editors, I guess, even though I'm not. As much as I have people tell me I'm all that, I'm not. These guys are the real people who are all that. No, you guys are. No 90s. No. Only 90s kids remember that slap. And then this one. That's for the 2000s kids.
Oh God.
You're out there, millennials.
2000 kids are Generation Y.
I don't. I don't care.
It's confusing. the
It
whole
is
thing.
confusing.
Yeah.
It is. To kind of relate to that, 90s and 90s television and everything, were there any major inspirations for your art style or even just your taste in things like, do you watch a lot of animation?
Oh,
Is there a
I
kind of a
mean-
pattern with it?
the person. Okay, I don't know. Like, that requires me thinking a little too deeply, and I'm too
Sorry.
tired to do that. But one person that immediately jumps into mind is Hayao Miyazaki.
Of
He,
course.
he is a fantastic watercolorist, and every conceptual art that he does with watercolor to draw out the scenes and stuff like that. I've seen a lot of his stuff, and he's the reason why I gravitated towards watercolor in the first place.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
That's actually amazing. I love that.
Good reason.
It seems like he inspires a lot of people, though, in animation-wise and artistically. I mean, you would say the same thing.
Oh,
right?
dude! Like when I was doing my storyboarding assignment, like all I looked at for in terms of reference for pacing and framing my shots, all Hayao Miyazaki. And as a result, my stuff looked very different from my classmates.
Now, is that a very distinct, and I know you've expanded upon this in the past, Ace, but what is there distinctly different, and you can add in on this too, David, is there something distinctly different between an Eastern anime, for example, or something like a Western cartoon like the My Little Ponies or anything like that? What is the major difference in, pacing or any of that sort of?
A huge difference in usage of time and space. Like it's one of the big things I've noticed is that in a lot of Western media, they like to use like wide open space to give a sense of discomfort, to make you feel ill at ease, because it's like, oh man, there's not a lot going on, what's happening. But in Eastern media, a lot of times they will use that as a moment of contemplation and like and just a moment to breathe. That's not and you can really feel that in the difference between let's say like in the use of silence between maybe a David Fincher film versus who's a good Japanese
Getting all film school on me. Kurosawa.
Kurosawa. Like,
There you go.
Like see how he uses like space and silence and how different that is compared to
Yeah.
his to Western directors.
Now tell me about the intricacies of Jim Miller's direction in My Little Pony.
No,
Tell me, Mr. Film School.
you're asking him questions. Right?
I am, yes.
No, don't
But
ask.
do you have anything to add on to that, that viewpoint?
Only thing I know is that I don't know, like during the early 20th century, the Japanese animators took a lot from the Western animators. I don't know, at some point in time it diverged style-wise and timing-wise, as he said.
Yes.
That's all I know, really. That's it.
Oh, I got you. Well, I have. It's okay. I will ignore him then. I will ignore that. My little. It's hitting the mic. Oh, I got you. My little thing was interfering there. See, I'm the technical difficulties, everybody. I was going to say we're coming up on about 5 minutes before our next excellent artist comes up. Hopefully, that's enough time to. Seems like you're putting a few more touches on that.
Whoever's watching this, if you guys want to see a finished version of this, just go on my Facebook page, David Huang's Art Dump on Facebook, and it'll be up there in a couple of days, I guess.
There you go.
Yeah.
I was going to say, adding on to that, you did a wonderful interpretation of my OC a while back on, in paint, on paper, right in the same sort of paper he has there.
Oh, thank you.
And no problem. And that's on our Riff Ponies Twitter page, and I was more than happy to share it because I love, there's definitely an art to digital art, of course, not to ignore you, Ace. But I love how natural the traditional feels. I just, not so much feel, but there's just something you feel more, I guess, tangible about it when you hold it. I really like that. Not that you can't hold digital, but there's something different about it. And I don't know if that piggybacks off what your point earlier about traditional, but that's how I felt about it. And I really do appreciate that art you made.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
Any closing words you want to give to the people watching?
Yep.
No.
No. Nothing else to add. I like that though. And I think you've been.
I want my artwork to speak for itself. So.
There you go. I really appreciate you coming on, Dave, because I know you said you had a few concerns, and of course we're all a little bit, I'm camera shy. Believe it or not, I've been hosting this thing. I'm a bit camera shy, and I'm not accusing you of that. But we all had our reservations, and we said we wouldn't talk too much. But I really appreciate how much you talked to us today.
I'm surprised by how relaxed I feel right now. I thought I was gonna do bad, but I'm doing a lot better than I'm doing. So.
And that's what.
Thank you for having me on.
Not a problem, man. Not a problem.
Yeah.
And it looks like we're coming up on about 5:27, which I think we can. If you're finished with your piece there, I think.
For now, yeah.
For now, all right. You can call it cut and print then.
I think I left on an uplifting note.
For the most part.
I am the world's best artist.
There you go.
I'm gonna draw some ponies.
Bringing it all back.
Look it, I'm drawing some ponies. I'm at a panel where I'm drawing horses.
That is look at that horse.
That horse is amazing.
Okay.
Don't give it a lick, because that's a Cintiq.
No.
Ow.
Bring
Exactly.
that home. I have work to do tonight.
So,
Okay.
artist life.
Okay.
So, Crunchy, before we're already starting, but if you want to, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Crunchy Crow, patreon.com/crunchycrow.
Plug time, plug. See, this is the part of our program where we plug.
No, I'm a digital artist, and I do watercolor and apparently acrylics now, thanks to a giant canvas and a huge mistake. And I do character design and animation, and that is actually where I should probably plug my YouTube channel. It's Crunchy Crow with an E at the end because I'm edgy like that.
Ow.
And I occasionally will draw a pony because, I mean, obviously I'm up here. So I have ponied in some way. I have sinned.
Hey, we're all stuck in
And
this ride together.
I stream all the time, like all the time, because that's how I do walk-in commissions. That's how I make my livelihood, is I make livelihood on commissions.
Yeah.
And I'm real into interacting with my stream. So if anybody is in the chat and they want to say howdy, I'm going to say howdy back.
There are some people. I see chicken horse to your horse earlier.
What?
The horse you drew earlier.
Oh.
the goof horse, the amazing horse.
The goof horse.
The goof horse.
Yeah, and I like to sketch. Sketching is my favorite. I mean, I should get a Cintiq this size. This is nice.
Yeah, no, 13 HD is really nice.
It's good for traveling.
Oh yeah, that's what I do. I just pack it alongside my bag, bring it on to cons and stuff.
God, I have the big one at home, and so I'm used to.
Yeah, no, like those are nice when you're sitting at home, but yeah, that's good for travel.
Well, not all of us are blessed with the money to have two Cintiqs.
I don't have two Cintiqs. I just
You
have one.
monster.
The big one I use at my university
Oh,
because I'm still in school.
right. Well,
Nerd.
I'm in school too.
Nerd. I'm a grown woman.
She says as she draws cartoon horses.
Nerd.
We're all nerds. That's the conclusion to make.
I am.
So what dragged you into the whole art business, whole art scene? What made you decide I'm going to do a job that's going to give me less money than anything else?
You make it sound so dark.
Sheer stubborn attitude.
Yeah.
My dad said I couldn't do it,
Oh,
so I had to do it.
nice.
There you go.
That's it. That's honestly when you get to the core of the issue. I was told my entire life that I couldn't do it, and I was like, false. I'm gonna do it. So here I am. I'm doing it. I'm sorry. Is looking into the camera bad?
That's totally.
We're not filming a TV show. Never
That's
mind.
totally. We're allowed to.
Is there a certain do you want to give a shout out to your dad? Tell him how you really feel.
Jeez.
Oh, I can't do that. It's a G-rated stream.
See, there you go.
I love you, kids. All right.
We've got kids watching a Christian server.
Arts.
Christian server, exactly.
I went live on my channel for 2 seconds trying to link to this channel, but I couldn't do it from my phone. So there are like, a couple hundred people out there who like hopped into my stream because they subscribe to me and they click on the bell and they're like, oh boy, Crunchy's streaming, and I got like 50 excited messages, and then like I turned off the stream because it was time to go on. So I've left. They don't even know. They don't know I'm here.
Oh no.
Yeah.
All those potential
Well,
viewers.
All those potential viewers.
Exactly.
Well, they're gonna find out last minute.
Yes, right as it ends, right?
That's how it usually works out.
So what are you drawing right now, if I may ask? We've kind of been just rambling as we see it here.
Sketchtown.
Sketchtown.
Yeah,
Population.
this is my I'm warming up. I do warm-up sketches.
Gotcha.
And I just draw usually some of my characters or whatever because I'm trash. So usually in my streams, I spend the entire time taking commissions. So without commissions to do, I usually go into doing character designs, which I might do. So I'm gonna do a character design now, and then I'll sell him. Because that's what I do.
There you go.
I do character designs and then I sell them.
I see somebody, I will quote them directly, they said, now you're smoking the tablet. I like your big ear style.
I do. I like big ears. Big ears make a very happy crunch.
Edit that and put it anywhere you want out of context. Don't do that.
I've said worse things on my own stream.
That's true. That is true.
There's no filter on my own stream.
Yes, but this is a Christian server, so.
Not in my good Christian server.
What's your
Exactly.
favorite number? Why? Brian,
7.
what is this?
Yeah, forget that thing. We don't need it.
Conversation starters. I don't know.
Yeah, what's your favorite number?
My favorite number is 7.
7?
Because I like writing it because I can write it like this, and it's just overkill.
Oh, the little line in
The
there.
little line in there, yeah.
That's how you be fancy.
Yeah,
Well, the
I
fact
have.
that you put the little overhang and the dash through, that's overkill. It's usually one or the other.
No, it's both.
Oh.
I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10, which my 0 has the little slashy through it too. I love this.
Welcome to Artists at a Meetup Drawing Horses, where we're drawing numbers today. I love
I
it.
think math is stupid.
Oh, you do? Same. We can relate on that.
All
Can
right,
we
I
relate
gotta-
on that, Ace?
I hated math. Like
Same.
I was good at it and I despised it.
Welcome to HAHcon, where we hate math.
Hate numbers.
I hate numbers.
Shout out to all my programmer friends out there. I don't know how you do it.
Shout out to Christina Applegate.
Who?
Oh my god. During high school, I had a teacher named Miss Appleby,
Oh.
and she was just the worst teacher. Whenever I hear somebody's name start like last name start with Apple, I get like PTSD. Just like, oh, I remember being in her class. She had a voice like she drank helium before every class, and we were high schoolers, and she taught us all like we were preschoolers.
What did you teach?
You get this. She taught advanced placement literature. She was teaching the smart kids. The smart kids, like we were kindergarten. She goes, okay, everybody, today we are gonna, and I'm just like, let's write in our journals.
Have you got some bad experience with teachers?
I was about to flip that to you, to ask you. Have you ever had bad experience with teachers?
I had a teacher. I'll just call him Mr. L. He taught chemistry. He was really bad at it. It was so bad, in fact, that in order to get kids to pass his class, he had 2 extra credit assignments for every semester, and kids basically used that to ride their way to graduate his class. Because the thing is that I did both of them. And I had so many points by the end that I absolutely bombed the final, and I still got out with a B.
Jeez.
I did Flash. I did really bad Flash animations for him for my extra credit assignments because nobody else was doing.
And I've seen
like
them.
that. Huh?
You've shown
yeah,
them
I
some of
did.
mine. Yes.
Oh, man.
At I don't know. It was at a party, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can show you again in the future, but
If I had to.
I'm just like a little.
Oh, gotcha. If I had to kind of explain one, if I had to name one really like awful teacher experience, it was worse for the professor than it was for me. We got a teacher fired in one trimester in high school.
Nice.
Yeah, and he
What?
was.
Oh no, you told me about this.
I did, yes. For those who don't know out there, I
You
got
mean
it.
everybody?
Yes, literally everybody knows about me. I'm just so horse famous. Hashtag. But what happened was, it was a
Get your pants pulled up, everybody. This is some real raw story right here.
real raw storytelling. Just gonna cook it. Gonna cook it medium. They wouldn't be raw. But let's see. He was my senior year in high school. He was my physics teacher, I believe. He was 23, fresh off the boat from college, and he.
Oh, that poor man.
Yeah. He had this weird thing where he liked stroking his beard, his neck beard, of course. Yeah, exactly. Not intellectually either. Not not like.
Oh, he's just like fat roll scratching it.
Yeah, really. Yeah, it really is what it was. But he was tried to be a really cool, hip, hipster kind of guy. And
Oh, no.
the problem is that people liked him. But what came time to the terrible stuff was when he decided to assign a video assignment to us. Now let me explain. I went to a high school in a little town, which I'm not going to name the town, but it might as well have been called
Podunk, USA.
Not exactly. I was going to say
It's next to Podunk, though.
yes. It's
Podunk adjacent.
Yes.
yes, White People, New Jersey. That should have been the name.
White people, New Jersey.
White people. No, see, look at me.
Adjacent to the town of white people and Filipino people.
There you go.
If you shake the table again.
Sorry, she will chop my hands off, I swear. I've seen her do it. So what happened was he assigns a video assignment and he's like, here's what you're gonna do. Make a video assignment about Niels Bohr.
Oh, hey, I did an assignment of this.
So we, one of my production guys loves it. So what happened was, I just kicked a water bottle. Everybody goes off and does video assignments, or some of us do regular papers. I did a paper because I was lame and I didn't know how to video edit then. But what happened was a group of guys who had made video projects before, they went and made a video called Trapped Physics. It was a rap video where they openly hotboxed a car with a vape. Someone praised to a portrait of one of our students who got expelled. There was a moment of urinating on a wall, all while they were rapping about physics. This spread around the school because this became legendary status, mind you. It might be on YouTube, but I'm not going to tell you the name of it. And what ended up happening is our professor loved it, and he spread it around our school. And eventually, to cut a long story short, our last day of our quarterlies, it comes to finals for that trimester, he's not there. A sub is there, and he hands us our exam. And he's like, yeah, he's not here. And then about a week later of not having him, he was gone. And we never saw him again. I feel like they killed him. Somewhere in
They
there.
dragged him out the back like New Jersey gangster style?
Exactly.
CIA blacklist style.
Yes, they whacked him. That's Goodfellas.
Office Space. Just beat him with a bunch of bats. Okay, I'm sorry.
We have somebody say, somebody said you're a good artist. And a kitty.
Oh, I'm a good artist?
Ah!
I didn't know. I knew.
Very humble.
No.
Oh.
Listen, if you're good at something, never do it for free. I'm breaking my rule.
That's fair advice. That's fair advice, though. That is.
Well, I'm not paying for being at the meetup, so. Y'all are paying for my services.
Now, there you go. But to go off of that a bit, to jump off a bit on that, I believe you just moved to this area.
Oh, yeah, I hate it.
Is that real or is that sarcasm?
Okay, so I kind of hate it, but I kind of love it. Anybody who's been in a room with me for 5 minutes since I moved here knows exactly how I feel about not being able to do laundry in my own home. But, because the house I moved into doesn't have a washing machine, and I take solace in doing my laundry, you know. It's a thing. It's like I sit at home, and I play a video game and while my laundry runs through, and then when it's done, it beeps, and I don't have to worry about being in a laundromat with strangers. And I mean, like, I guess I could go to my friend's house to do laundry, but it's not the same.
God, that was going someplace to do laundry was basically my life when I was growing up. Just sitting there doing absolutely nothing.
I'm so sorry.
That's what happened when you live with a poor Filipino family who's still making their place in the.
Oh, I miss my big Midwestern house. If you're watching, Mike, I miss you. Not enough to move back, just a little bit.
HAHcon, where we get real sad.
What? It's not sad.
It's not sad.
I moved to the greatest city in the world.
City that rocks, city that never sleeps. Ain't that right?
Whoa.
I don't know about you, but I'm about to fall asleep.
Are you about to fall asleep?
Am I really boring
No,
you that
never
bad?
sleep here. Never.
No,
never
honestly,
sleep.
I have my sleep schedule has just been trash the past long while.
Oh no,
Same.
I got a real job, so I have to be like on regular people's schedule. I'm good. I teach kids. I teach kids photography.
How are the kids?
How are the kids, or how old are the kids? Because
how are the kids?
oh, the kids. Well, I teach at a particularly wealthy school, and one of the kids last class asked me if I was poor. So I have some issues with some of the kids in some of the schools, but overall it's pretty good. They like to, they're like, oh, we get cameras and we get to take pictures, and then I take those pictures, and then I have to put them all on my computer, and then I have to go to Walgreens and get them all printed out. And, you know, it's a lot of work but it's fun, and I enjoy teaching the class. It's fun to be in front of 15 or 16 children and be like, guess what we're doing today? And they're like, oh, what are we doing today? You know, they get all excited. It's great.
Now, fun little question right here. Someone asked, wait, what city did you move to? Would you like to answer that?
New York.
There you go. Get a hot slice at the corner.
Well, I moved to, it's not New York. It's like above New York, in the place where not the crazy people live. It's just, it's like there's trees and a lake, and you know, it's.
Some people might say the trees are crazy people.
You're a crazy people.
Dang. What are you gonna do about that, Ace?
I'm not wrong.
She's not wrong.
Neither me. I can't act like I'm perfect.
You hang around me all the time. You know more than anyone.
Oh, but yeah, I moved here to the biggest city in America from Lone Jack, Missouri, which was population of like 1,000 people.
That's enough people to like know everyone
Oh,
by face
yeah.
and name.
Everyone knows
Yeah.
your name.
I lived there for a whole year. I knew all of my neighbors. I knew their schedules. I knew what they were doing, and not because I was creepy. It was because that's just, it was like living in the 50s.
Yeah.
I like that analogy.
Yeah, it was like that's why people move there, because it's like living in the 50s where everyone's got a white picket fence and you can leave your kids out after dark because
2.5 kids.
yeah.
2.5 kids. Where'd the other half go?
The right half or the left half?
They don't want to say.
Maybe it's just the bottom half.
It's a bottom.
I want to hear this story. I'm really upset.
You see like your typical 50s, 60s nuclear family out in the front yard. Like
Nuclear?
Dad's got that perfect smile with the deep set, and then
War never changes.
Okay,
like,
are we talking about Charlie Sheen and 2.5 Men, or are we talking about Fallout? I'm really
And
scared.
then you see a son and a daughter like sitting out there, and then a pair of legs come jogging across.
Oh, it's little Timmy. How you doing, buddy?
He can't think anything.
I'm
'cause
really
he's a pair of legs.
scared, guys. Stop. Anyways, so
His name is Legacy, and we don't like to talk about his condition.
we just kind of let him, we don't mention it to him. No, he shall never know. Anyways, you have
Don't talk stats about Legacy. He's a beautiful baby. He's a beautiful pair of legs.
he is stunning and bold.
He's gonna be on the cover of Vogue.
right? It's gonna
1950s, 1950s Vogue.
It's going to be the centerfold, but there's only going to be half of it.
It's like you fold it out and he's only on one page and it like cuts off and you think there's a printing error, but that's just where he ends.
What are we talking about?
We designed a character. Yeah, we just designed a character.
I'm a character designer.
Yeah, there we go.
You know what? I want to see, listen, now that we're talking about this, when you're done with that cat, would you be willing to draw half a horse?
The pony version of Legacy?
Yes.
All right.
That'd be perfect. That'd be perfect, actually. And because we're coming up on 10 minutes left, that'd be a perfect conclusion to our stream.
Oh, Legacy. Okay.
Yes. And as you go into that, just to keep pushing on with the questions here, where would you say, and you've told me this before, what would you say is your biggest inspiration behind your art style? Different kinds of media or different artists?
Disney meets dumpster.
Disney meets dumpster.
Because I'm garbage.
We're all trash here.
No, I was heavily inspired by Disney-style cartoons, stuff like Lady and the Tramp, the Aristocats. I love the Aristocats. I don't care what any of you say about that movie. It's beautiful and I love it, and I will fight you.
You were going to start a flame war, I'm sure.
I don't
with that
care.
Controversial opinion.
I don't care. I don't care. Aristocats is a perfect movie.
Someone would like to know if you do commissions.
I do commissions. If you
You can respond. To
email
people if
me
you'd like.
at crunchybensley@gmail.com and be like, hey, yo, what's up with your commissions? And I'll be like, this is what's up with my commissions. And then you can have some beautiful art.
There you go.
Also, Crunchycrow, if you want to look up my prices, it's DeviantArt. It's CRUNCHYCROWE.
There you go.
Just look me up, you'll find me. I'm internet famous, clearly. I'm not. I'm a little bit, but not.
Someone said the Aristocats is fantastic.
It is.
There you go.
It's really possum. It's a perfect movie.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
That was awful. There you go. It was supposed to be awful, though.
You are awful.
Thank you. I take that as a compliment.
What, you don't get that vibe from me every day?
Cause
Now
I'm
I'm just so
awful.
sad. I'm sad again.
I think he needs pink. No, not that pink. No, not that pink. That pink.
So, so while you work there, someone is asking.
Whistle while I work? I shouldn't do that. That'll wreck the mic.
Yeah. Someone wants you to pronounce a word, and I
Lay it
do.
on me.
Right there in all caps.
Enchiridion. Get wrecked.
There you go. Boom, mic drop, except we can't because they're hooked to our necks.
Yeah.
Got him.
And somebody liked to put mics down our shirt. They're like, I'll just put it down your sweatshirt. But then it went down my actual shirt, and I was like, yeah. Billiam.
Are you trying to pronounce it?
Yeah, I mean, there's an umlaut in there, so it makes me think it's German.
Or what about a tilde?
Tilde?
Which I always use in my messages.
Oh,
now.
guys, real talk. The movie Matilda. Have you guys seen
I
Matilda?
have seen Matilda.
Isn't it like the best movie?
It's great.
Oh, it's so good.
Whenever we're talking about Matilda on a pony art stream. But
Dude, I'm not even drawing a horse.
I know, but the hypest moment of Matilda is when the kid, he eats all the chocolate cake.
Right?
That's the hypest moment.
Oh, it's such a good one. It's such a good
I haven't
moment.
seen it.
You've never seen Matilda?
What?
No, I've always seen like a scene or two whenever I'm like passing by my folks and they're like watching on the TV and it's like on CBS or something.
You and I are gonna have some quality time where we sit down and we watch this movie. If you never see him again, it's because he refused to watch the movie and I ended him.
And you put him in the chokey.
In the what?
The choke.
Chokey.
The choking.
Now,
There
you
now
go.
you have to watch it.
Now you have to watch it.
Oh.
And it's directed by Danny DeVito.
It's directed
Oh.
by Danny DeVito.
It
Yes,
is,
and
he's in
also Mike, my friend Mike, Mr. Michael Pivations. He's never seen Holes, Shia LaBeouf's breakout role.
Digging
Oh,
up,
I haven't seen Holes.
owned up.
Dig it out, ow.
Oh!
You
Ah, it's terrible.
already know I haven't seen a lot of movies. That's why
I have.
you come to my house and show me movies.
And that's why we do high quality films for high quality people each Saturday at Bronies NYC.
Come to the church and we will educate you.
Tonight we're doing Blazing Saddles.
We are. Pretty good movie.
I've actually never seen that one though.
Oh, that's a good one.
Now it's my turn to be upset. No.
It's because I watch real westerns.
Oh, fair enough.
Snap.
It might make me upsetty spaghetti.
Fair enough.
Westerns. I want to watch. I still
What
want
is
to
this?
watch the assassination of Jesse James.
Do I need
Jesse
another mic?
James by the coward.
Robert Crawford.
Oh, there you
Okay.
go.
Yeah. I still want to see that movie. We're going to watch that movie sometime.
Sometime, yes. After the stream.
After.
Right after, except we can't. Her name is Crunchy Crow.
I'm Crunchy Crow.
Someone just asked. Her name is Crunchy Crow.
And I
Should read it off
usually
James Bond style.
I usually stream on my own channel. I've been kidnapped. They're holding me hostage.
We are loaded guns behind the camera. Not
You
really.
can't do that in New York.
You could do it in New Jersey, where I'm
Exactly.
from, where we're
Everything's
from.
legal in New Jersey. And if you get that reference, you're Hamill trash.
Oh
Someone.
God, right? That didn't happen very far from where we live.
Jeez, you're right, actually.
Alexander Hamilton.
If you would like an education on New Jersey and New Jersey culture, just watch The Sopranos or Clerks.
The Clerks.
Clerks is the best, actually. That's
We
what we
visited
do.
the store.
We did.
Yeah.
We did. But enough about that. We're coming up on about 4 minutes left. So
I will get to what's
Legacy.
Yes.
you can do a speed draw.
I'm almost done with this character design.
It's fine. You're doing a great job. Not that I need to tell you.
Yeah, I know.
Mm.
Can I be more arrogant?
You're not.
You guys are used to having all these artists up here who are just like, oh, I'm not that great. And I'm like, I am a god.
See,
Thank
you are the garnish to this humble pie that we've had today at this table.
The garnish is the best part. Okay, that's where like all the strawberries and raspberries are and the pretty little green leaflets. The best part is the garnish.
There you go.
Everything looks like trash without the garnish.
Have anything to add to that, Ace?
I like to think I'm an apple pie.
Fight me.
Oh my god. I'm in
Isn't
a
he
pie
pretty?
battle.
What am I gonna name him?
Not Legacy.
Not Legacy. That'll be his full name. NL, not Legacy. Say this. There's a big one right here. Can you say this, Crunchy?
I don't know what that number is. Like I'd have to
It's
like.
not a number.
I'd have to like go backwards and be like, then there's a comma there, and there's a comma there, and there's a comma there, and there's a comma there. It's something like
Read it backwards
It's
like a
something-
manga.
it's like 2,749 gazillion 247 4258 bajillion.
Quality content here at artists at a Meetup drawing horses. I believe I was just signaled by one of our production crew that we have about 3 minutes left. So, are we just done? Oh, I like this.
Wow, that's a straight knuckle crack.
It was a definite knuckle crack. Should we just watch the master at work?
And his cutie mark
Yes.
Another
is
pair of
legs.
legs. Yes.
Only quality content here at Bronies NYC and artists at a Meetup drawing horses. Isn't that right, Ace?
Actually, I kind of want to have.
Ace.
Why are you looking for affirmation from me? I mean,
Because I need approval. I need approval.
We live like this every single day, and I've come to accept it. I don't know why you haven't.
Well, I don't know. What do you want to do about it?
I'm doing it already. I'm living with it. I live it every day. Also, if someone wants us to sing "Believer" by Imagine Dragons. I don't know that song, but I know how to sing.
First things first, I'm tired of the way the things have been. Exactly.
No,
That's my favorite Smash Mouth song.
cause I saw her face.
There you go. There you go. That's
I'm a
Believer.
believer.
That's Believer by Imagine
Not a
Dragons.
trace. I'm out of my mind. I'm in love. Ooh, I'm a believer. I couldn't leave her if I tried.
And on that wonderful pasta-filled bombshell, I would like to thank everybody from HAHcon for tuning into this wonderful 2 hours. Crunchy, I want to thank you for your excellent work here.
Legacy!
That's all, folks.
There you go. Thank you so much, Crunchy. Thanks to all the amazing artists out there, and thank you to you guys for tuning in. Because despite all technical difficulties, we managed to just power through, and I hope you guys had a great time. So
Now I'm going to do a stream and get more viewers than this.
exactly. And with that, so in the end, subscribe to all these amazing artists. You can find them back in the stream, either Crunchy or Ace, or Invalid-David, or Moogie. And subscribe to anything Bronies NYC, and subscribe to Riff Ponies, because we're kind of funny guys, semi-professional funny guys, right?
Well, I mean, I like to think we are.
And on that bombshell, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a great night.